Oh, I love it. You know, before we would have to go to separate places, so now we can do everything in here. We've been coming out here since 2014. So I love it. It's conducive to training. You know, one of the things that I got to get on Julian about is the rest and recovery. So here you get the hyperbaric machine, you go get your massage. Everything is conducive to him recovering, getting ready for the fight. So when we come out here strategically at a certain time before his fight, so everything can kind of be perfect with his recovery. I love it. You know what I mean? I was telling Victor, all he needs is a living quarters for the guys.
Yeah.
And it will be perfect. It all depends on what part of camp it's in. Obviously, the beginning of part of camp, you just want to get him in shape and get his body in tune. As camp goes on, you start training fights specific for the opponent that you're fighting. Certain punches, certain movements that you kind of want them to do. And you don't want to force it on them. You just kind of just drill it over and over and over again, so it becomes like a positive muscle memory. And then you'll throw a certain set of punches or a certain set of or make him do a certain set of moves that you know his opponent will do, and then he has to kind of react to them. And as the fight, you know, as the camp goes along, you start training more fight specific, but you don't want things to be monotonous in camp and do the same thing over and over and over again, because what will happen is a fighter will be in shape, but his mind will be really still. So you got to kind of start, it's kind of like stimulate him a little bit, no matter what you have to do. Sometimes you got to, sometimes we'll play around and hit the pad southpaw, and he don't switch in the fight, but just to kind of stimulate him, give him a couple of days off, tell him to go out to eat, go hang out, put on a couple pounds, you know, go to the movies, go bowling with his family or whatever. Lean on your fundamentals and you lean on your character if things aren't going your way. But there's been enough things that haven't went his way in his life, in the gym, and in his career, where I'm confident that he's going to respond how he needs to respond if things don't go his way. Obviously, lately he's been red hot. He hasn't lost a round in 2-3 years and over 9 or 10 fights. I don't know what the stat is. The guy from PBC told me it's maybe 51, 52 straight rounds that he's won on the judges' scorecards.
Wow.
But you never know what's going to happen in the fight. You know what I mean? So, if things don't go his way, listen, I don't care what nobody say. If you watch enough sparring from any guy in the world, I'm talking about the top guy to the 500th guy, you're gonna see them have a bad day and somebody get the better of them. You know what I mean? So it's just the way it is. So you could just rely on your character, your fundamentals, and your preparation. You know, being able to solve every problem that you're gonna have in the ring. You know, I laugh at people when they say they don't study the opponent. I'm like,
why wouldn't you?
Y'all tripping.
Yeah.
You know, why wouldn't you want to know the answers to the test before you take it?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm always confident in my preparation. And if the opponent go in there and do something that we wasn't expecting, you know what, Gabe? That opponent is going to be under stress because he don't usually fight like that.
Yeah.
So if he comes in and tries to say, oh, well, I'm going to be totally different from what I was the last fight. Well, good luck to you. You know, Julian has enough professional and amateur fights and enough world-class sparring where he should be able to adjust. But even if he can't, that burns you out when you do something that you're not used to doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't really, I just worry about my preparation, what my guy knows, and hopefully we have the solution to all of the problems. I try to simulate the fight, certain things that me and him work on with our heart rate, with his heart rate, where a constant change of heart rate will fatigue you. So we try to fight at a certain tempo where we know that his heart rate is going to be where he could literally box all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of fighters, they'll be like, I ran 10 miles. And I always ask them, did you run 10 miles at your pace? Or did you run 10 miles at someone training you pace where they changed your heart rate up and made you run faster than what you normally would like to run? So I don't let him run at his own pace. But when we get close to a fight, we do certain things at a certain pace because that's the tempo I want of the fight. And if the guy can bring him out of that, he's already been trained in a way where he can fight at a different pace and control it and settle everything back down and go back to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when he's dictating the pace of the fight, he's unbeatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's workmanlike, and he's like, he just kind of picks you apart and picks you apart. If you're not making him work hard, then he's
And
he's
if
just
you try to make him work hard, you gotta take a lot of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can take a lot of punishment.
Yeah.
To, so he'll put you back in your place. It's right on time. It could have been a little bit sooner, but when they make him wait, all he does is get better. Just has time, work on different things, become a better fighter.
Physically mature.
You got it. He was a kid that was a little bit of a late bloomer. So now, the more time they give him, the better he becomes. And we're going to get a title shot this year. There's no use of complaining about what treatment other people get. We ready to roll. You know what I mean? We're in a good spot.
Can you evaluate the fighter for me? What do you think of this guy?
He's decent. I'm not going to turn him into Jake Kamada. He's not that guy. He's 16-1.
Right.
I seen the fight that he lost. I think he lost the fight because it was a 10-rounder and he wasn't ready for 10 rounds yet. It was like maybe in his 10th or 11th fight. The guy got him a little tired and stopped him, but he was stopped on his feet. He's decent. I don't think he should be able to beat Julian. I'm not going to try to.
He's not a big puncher.
Not a big. Anybody can punch with 10-ounce gloves on and no headgear.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Julian has a solid chin, but anybody can punch. And you don't have to knock a guy out to beat him. You can score more points than him. But he's a scrappy guy. I can't measure his ambition. I'll tell you one thing. They didn't have to convince him to take the fight. He was willing to take the fight.
That says a lot.
You know what I mean? That says a lot because there's guys that transnational in the ring have rated really high that didn't want to go anywhere near Julian. And this kid's not in the rankings and he took the fight. So that lets me know how serious he is. And, he's coming to fight. I've seen bigger favorites and better fighters than Julian lose to bigger underdogs. Anything can happen in a fight. We training super serious. This is a long trip to come out here to the Bay Area, and this work that he's doing is brutal. You know what I mean? He wouldn't be putting himself through this. We take everybody serious, and you have to. You know what I mean? Any man that puts on the gloves and get in the ring and has 8 weeks to train can be dangerous to you. On top of that, people taking PEDs. So you can get a guy that fights over his head and be a stark raving maniac when you get in the ring with him. So I think Julian's going to win the fight. I think he's going to severely damage this kid because he knows he has to. He's putting that kind of pressure on himself. I think he's going to damage him. I don't know if I'm not going to predict the round, but I think he's going to really hurt him. And I think it's going to be a good fight. I think the kid's going to come to fight and he's going to make Julian hurt him. And this is the hurt business. He's here to hurt him. That's what he wants to do. And hopefully everybody go home safely to their family. But this is the hurt business, and I think he's going to really hurt this kid.